The Washington Post is gunning for Tesla, and I'm not surprised. I mean, whether they get editorial direction from the top or not, they certainly know which side their bread is buttered on, and they are terrible. I'm Brian. Welcome to my Tesla Weekend. Wanted to say a quick thanks to my newest subscribers on X who support this channel. Bradford Ferguson from Rebellionaire, welcome aboard. Dylan Loomis from Electrified, oh my gosh. And Teslary and Joshua, you guys are the reason this channel actually exists because YouTube doesn't pay all that well. And I appreciate you. You can subscribe and support and do all that great stuff. Sometimes there's bonus content, who knows. So the Washington Post, the final 11 seconds of a fatal Tesla Autopilot crash with a reconstruction. Ooh, I love this. Democracy dies in darkness. That's a really great catchy thing. You know where else it dies? Behind paywalls. Because you can't see this unless you pay. This is the darkness wherein democracy dies. Good job, WAPO. Irony Award of the Year. So this is a real wet piece of trash here. The sun had yet to rise in Delray Beach, Florida, when Jeremy Banner flicked on autopilot. His red Model 3 sped down the highway at nearly 70 miles per hour, his hands no longer detected on the wheel. Seconds later, the Tesla plowed into a semi-truck, shearing off its roof as it slid under the trailer. Banner was killed on impact. His family sued after the gruesome 2019 collision, one of at least 10 active lawsuits involving Autopilot, several of which are expected to go to court. This could determine whether the driver is solely responsible when things go wrong, or whether the software should also bear the blame. Very flowery, very poetic. 2019, though, that's kind of a long time ago. I wonder if the technology has changed since then. Off to a good start, WAPO. The outcome could prove critical for Tesla, which has pushed increasingly capable driver assistance technology. I'm glad it's increasingly capable. That sounds quite positive. Faster than any other major car maker. Yeah, they really are advancing fast. They are the leaders. Thank you, WAPO, for your admission. If Tesla prevails, the company could continue deploying the evolving tech with few legal consequences or regulatory guardrails. What guardrails? What are you talking about? What do you want it to do? What do you want in terms of government intervention? We want more government intervention? More? I mean, it either works or it doesn't, and it works. Multiple verdicts against the company, however, could threaten both Tesla's reputation and its financial viability. You're threatening its reputation with the nonsense, but its financial viability? No, we're past that. Them days is behind us. That's... By the way, the article is quite long, and I'm not going through all of it, but that is not mentioned again later because that's ridiculous. That's not a thing. According to an investigation by the NTSB, a 50-year-old father of 4. Is that relevant to the incident? Should have been watching the road. Yeah. He agreed to Tesla's terms of conditions and conditions of operating and was provided with an owner's manual, which together warn of the limitations, as well as every time you turn it on. But lawyers for his family, there's your problem, say Tesla should shoulder some responsibility for the crash, along with former transportation officials and other experts. They say the company's marketing, they don't have a marketing department, but let's just pass on that, of Autopilot exaggerates its capabilities, creating a false sense of complacency that can lead to daily crashes. The argument is echoed in several Autopilot-related cases where plaintiffs say they believed that it was safer than a human-operated vehicle. It is. It is safer when you use it correctly. Airbags are safer than no airbags when you use them. If you don't wear a seatbelt and your airbag goes off, it could kill you. If you've got your foot on the dashboard and the airbag goes off, it could break your leg. Everything designed for safety can be more dangerous if used incorrectly. That's how everything works. I don't know. I mean, we can see the traffic stats. We can see that the average number of crashes is at one number, and Teslas with no autonomy of any kind are less likely to crash. Ones with autonomy engaged are the least likely to crash. It is known. But you have to use it correctly. Anything used wrong can kill you. To reconstruct the crash, the Post relied on hundreds of court documents, dash cam photos, and a video of the crash taken from a nearby farm, as well as satellite imagery. They assessed the diagrams. The NTSB included the Post's reconstruction found that braking just 1.6 seconds before impact would have avoided the collision. So what is the time? 1.6 seconds of braking would have fixed it. So we're talking about a very narrow window in which tragedy struck. That sounds like something that a human might have struggled to do. And I'm not able to play it. The reconstruction, I have seen it. It's very good. But it doesn't play back on the archive. And I am not giving you any money to look at your garbage. So let's just go through the timeline of events. Starts his workday, 5:50. At 6:16, he sets the cruise control to 69, though the speed limit's 55, and he turns on autopilot 2.4 seconds later. By the way, with most cars, you don't have this kind of depth, this richness of data from which to pull. Standard autopilot notice flashes. Keep your hands on the wheel and be prepared to take over at any time. According to Tesla's user documentation, autopilot's not designed to work on a highway with cross traffic, such as US 441, but drivers can sometimes activate it in areas or conditions where it's not designed. 2 seconds later, data dialog registers no driver applied wheel torque, meaning Banner's hands cannot be detected on the wheel. If autopilot doesn't detect its hands, it flashes a warning, in this case, giving Banner's speed. The warning would have come on after about 25 seconds. Banner doesn't have that long. A truck driver pulls out without stopping. Truck enters the lane of traffic, and 2 seconds later, the forward-facing camera captures this image of the truck, which you can't see, of course. But it's washed out. It's twilight. It's hard to see. It is a situation where when I watched it, I don't know if I'd have noticed it. Car doesn't warn of the obstacle. Autopilot vision didn't consistently detect and track it. And the Tesla continues towards it. Neither Banner nor autopilot detected it. So the human didn't detect it, and the car didn't detect it. Now, either he wasn't paying attention, in which case, and we don't know. But if he wasn't paying attention, he's using it wrong. And if he was paying attention, which is possible, he didn't see it either until it was too late. Tesla slams into the trunk, and he is killed. So, a surveillance video located, here's the twilight, you can see it now, on the farm where the truck driver had just made a routine delivery shows the crash in real time. If that plays, I'm not clicking on it because I don't want to see it. Tesla typically does not provide access to its car's crash data and often prevents regulators from revealing crash information to the public. I'm calling BS on that because regulators do what regulators do. You can't just you think you can just say don't reveal data and they're just not going to do it. That's okay. Due to uncertainty of Banner's movements in the car, the Post the NTSB determined that Banner's inattention and the truck driver's failure to fully yield were probable causes of the crash. I would add a third one. He was going too fast. When the truck driver pulled up, he looked and saw headlights. I think that's the next one. Banner's over-reliance on automation permitted disengagement by the driver. If you've driven a Tesla with autopilot, you know how difficult disengaging is. 4 years later, despite pleas from safety investigators, regulators in Washington have outlined no clear plan to address those shortcomings. Right, but we have the cars, and we know there's now eyeball monitoring, and it's very strict. I mean, it's all been addressed, but okay. Allowing the autopilot experiment to continue to play out on American roads with little federal intervention. Autopilot experiment. It's saving lives. It's already saving lives, you guys. And by the way, the truck driver's account is that he pulled out, saw that there was a car coming, but there should be plenty of time, and went. And if this claim that 1.9 seconds, 1.6 seconds of braking would have prevented the accident, that's correct. Excessive speed is why he hit it. He would have cleared it if the car was going the correct speed, if it wasn't going 14 over the speed limit. But again, yeah, let's blame the car. Fancy cruise control. Tesla's guided autopilot have slammed on the brakes at high speeds without clear cause, accelerated or lurched from the road without warning, and crashed into parked emergency vehicles displaying flashing lights. You know what else has done that? People. People do that. That's what people do too. You've never been in a car with somebody who braked unexpectedly? You've never been in a car with somebody who veered weird? You see that on the road in front of you. I mean, maybe not every day, but regularly. And you're not lobbying for my convenience. If my car does something that mildly inconveniences me, I'm not worried about it. But we're talking about safety. And the safety is the safety, is the safety, is the safety. They're safer. In February, a Tesla on autopilot smashed into a fire truck. The driver was under the influence of alcohol during the crash. I appreciate that you just threw that in without any context. This guy was very drunk and had been given notifications to pay attention by the car repeatedly, and it had been disengaging. So, again, that's not an autopilot issue. That's a drunk driver issue. There's not a higher incidence of drunk driving in Teslas that I've ever heard of. This is a driver who would have killed himself or someone else sooner in any other car. And again, these are all things that humans already do in greater numbers. Elon painted a different reality, arguing that it's making the road safer. It's probably better than a person right now, he said in 2016. Yeah, in 2016, autopilot with human supervision was probably safer than a human. That's why they rolled it out. That's why it was so popular. He made similar assertions about a more sophisticated form of autopilot called full self-driving in July. Now I know I'm the boy who cried FSD, but man, I think we'll be better than human by the end of this year. He means better than human without a human. You're just taking a bunch of things and lumping them together for the sake of dumbasses. I mean, genuine pants on head, can't go outside without breathing in the rainwater kind of people. Genuinely stupid. If you're a pedestrian, if you're another vehicle on the road, he added, do you know you're unwittingly an object of an experiment that's happening? Dumb. Genuinely dumb. It is safer. There is no safer vehicle than a properly driven vehicle with autonomous features. It's just safer. Pedestrians. Where do you find these genuine idiots? The car is driving itself. Years before, his wife Kim told investigators, around the time of his purchase, Tesla's website featured a video showing a Tesla navigating the curvy roads and intersections with a driver with his hands hovering beneath the wheel. And it says, the person in the driver's seat is only there for legal reasons. He's not doing anything. The car is driving itself. Yes, that's correct. Full self-driving hardware on all cars. It doesn't say it's done. It doesn't say it's ready. It says that the hardware is on the car. And it showed a test. It showed a demonstration. What are you talking about? Again, how The problem is Washington Post knows that there are genuinely stupid people who will read this and say, yeah, exactly. While the video concerned FSD, which operates on surface streets, the plaintiffs in Banner's case said, marketing doesn't distinguish between these systems. Okay. One of them is free and the other is $12,000. Do you not know the difference between free and $12,000? Because you can subscribe to my channel by clicking the little subscribe button and also send me $12,000. Come on, man. I get it. Lawyers be doing lawyer things, but come on. Tesla complicated matters when they eliminated radar sensors from its cars, making vehicles such as semi-trucks appear two-dimensional and harder to parse. Radar doesn't parse. Radar is binary. Radar says yes object or no object. It isn't HD. HD radar has never been on the cars. Whoever said this probably doesn't, I'll be charitable and say doesn't know what they're talking about. Really, they probably do know, and they're lying. And this is 2021. We're talking about a 2019 incident, but okay. If a system turns on, then at least some users will conclude it must be intended to work there, because they think if it wasn't intended to work there, it wouldn't turn on. It is intended to work there. Autopilot, if you can turn it on and supervise it, it works. It just does. Now, whether they want the liability of it working in some places, I mean, there are instances where turning it on, the car just says, oh, way above my pay grade. But if it's a road like US 141 in question, it does work. If your eyes are on the road, like you agreed to when you activated the feature in the first place, when you activated it just now, and when it keeps beeping at you saying, buddy, keep your hands on the wheel and your eyes on the road. So it does work. It's impossible to know what he was doing in his final seconds. Right. Because he might have been looking out the front window. He beeped it, he turned it on, and 2.4 seconds later crashed. If he'd been, and Tesla has argued in courts that if he'd been paying attention, it is undisputed that he could have avoided the crash. I would argue, so either he wasn't looking, in which case, what the hell, or he was looking and he just didn't see it in time because he was going too fast for the road conditions. And the truck also shared some of that blame. The truck driver said he should have been more careful at the stop sign that morning. Banner's family also sued the driver, but they settled. So this family's already gotten one paycheck, they're out for a second. It's not going to bring him back. They know that. But they want more money. Everyone wants more money. I want more money. Truck driver says, I've done it a dozen times. And I clearly thought I had plenty of time. I mean, it was dark, and the cars looked like it was way back further than what they were. Right. Because the car was going too fast, like 30% too fast almost. Probably 25, 30% too fast. Yeah, you would have been fine if that driver had driven like a normal person with his eyes on the road or within a non-criminal distance of the speed limit. Now, here's the fun part. It takes a village of idiots to make an article this good because we've got 5 authors. 5 authors it took to write this steaming pile of WAPO. But don't worry, they had help because they got additional research by 1, 2 people, editing by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people, and copy editing. It's not good, you guys. It's not good. WAPO, you're convincing people that the safest cars on the road should not be used in the safest way possible. You're convincing people to eschew the safest method of transportation on 4 wheels. For what? For clicks, maybe? So people will subscribe and view the video or the article or the interactive graphics? Maybe. What you're doing is hurting people. You and Clown O'Dan are hurting people. You are causing people to be injured and killed. And that's shameful. And you should be ashamed. You should reconsider. You need to reconsider what you do, because you're bad at it. Or maybe you're good at it. Maybe you're so good at it, at making people engage in dangerous behavior. Shameful. What did I miss? What did I misunderstand? I'll leave it all in the comments.